Jennifer kept her head low as she walked into Dehan International Academy, clutching her books to her chest like a shield. Every pair of eyes seemed to follow her, the whispers, the stares, the subtle giggles. She was used to it by now. Being the only black student in the entire school made her impossible to ignore. As she passed the lockers, a group of girls snickered. "She doesn't belong here," one muttered in Korean, loud enough for Jennifer to catch. Her cheeks burned, but she forced her steps forward, swallowing the lump in her throat. Then it happened. The hall went quiet, too quiet. When Jennifer looked up, she saw him, Minho, tall, effortlessly confident, with the kind of face that could silence a room. He was the star of the school, brilliant, athletic, and untouchable. And right now, his sharp eyes weren't on anyone else. They were on her. Jennifer froze, her heart slamming against her ribs. Why was he looking at her? No one, especially not him, ever noticed her. Minho tilted his head slightly, a faint smirk tugging at his lips, as if he knew something she didn't. The whispers began again, sharper this time. Why is he staring at her? What's going on? Jennifer gripped her books tighter, wishing she could disappear. Jennifer tried to steady her breath as she slipped into her classroom. The weight of the whispers still clung to her skin like a shadow. She slid into the farthest seat by the window, hoping the stares would shift away. But they didn't. Not when Minho walked in. Not when, out of every empty desk, he chose the one directly beside hers. Gasps rippled through the room. Girls exchanged wide-eyed looks, some covering their mouths in disbelief. Minho had never sat anywhere but the front row. Jennifer's hands trembled over her notebook. She dared not look at him, but she could feel his gaze, steady and unshaken. "Jennifer, right?" His voice was calm, low, as if speaking to her alone. Her heart skipped. He knew her name. She nodded faintly, unable to find her voice. The teacher began the lesson, but Jennifer couldn't focus. Every nerve in her body screamed at the closeness of the boy everyone admired and feared. "Don't look so nervous," Minho muttered under his breath, a smirk brushing his lips. "I don't bite." Jennifer's cheeks heated. Was he mocking her? Then she caught something strange in his expression. It wasn't cruelty, it was curiosity, almost like recognition. But that made no sense. They had never spoken before. When the bell rang, Jennifer thought she could finally escape. But before she stood, Minho leaned closer, his words chilling her to the core. "You shouldn't be here, Jennifer." "They won't let you," Jennifer froze at Minho's words. "They won't let you." Her pulse quickened as she turned to face him, searching his eyes for some hint of a joke. But Minho wasn't smiling now. His gaze was sharp, unreadable, as if he knew something she didn't. What do you mean?" Jennifer whispered. Before Minho could answer, a girl with glossy hair and eyes like fire stepped between them. So-yeon, the school's queen, the girl every other student seemed to orbit around. "Minho," she said sweetly, her voice dripping with poison. "I didn't know you'd taken a special interest in her." Her eyes flicked over Jennifer with disdain. Jennifer felt the sting immediately, as though she wasn't even worthy of a name. Minho leaned back in his chair, unbothered. "Maybe I have," he said casually. Gasps spread again. So-yeon's smile faltered for the briefest second before she quickly masked it. "Careful," she warned softly, her words directed at Jennifer now. "Some places don't welcome strangers, and some people don't survive trying to fit in." Jennifer's throat tightened, but she refused to let her fear show. She met So-yeon's gaze with quiet defiance, even though her heart was racing. So-yeon smirked and walked away, her loyal followers trailing behind her. Jennifer turned back to Minho, confusion and unease swirling inside her. "Why did you say that?" she demanded. Minho studied her for a long moment before replying. His voice was low, serious. "Because this school isn't as safe as you think." Jennifer's day had been quiet, like most days. She kept her head low, her books clutched tightly to her chest, avoiding the curious stares that followed her through the hallways. Being the only black student in the prestigious Korean academy made her stand out more than she ever wanted. But today, her silence made her a target. As she entered the girls' bathroom between classes, Three girls blocked the exit. At their center stood So-hee, the girl everyone knew was obsessed with Minho. "So this is the girl he keeps looking at?" So-hee sneered, circling Jennifer like a predator. "Pathetic." Jennifer's lips parted, but no sound came. She hugged her books tighter, eyes fixed on the floor. The girls shoved her against the sink. One yanked at her blazer, ripping the sleeve. Another opened her soda and poured it over Jennifer's hair, the sticky liquid sliding down her face. "Go back where you came from," So-hee spat before they left, laughing. Jennifer stood frozen, trembling. Tears threatened, but she bit her lip, refusing to let them fall. She quietly fixed her hair, tried to wipe her stained shirt, and slipped out unnoticed. Jennifer hurried out of the bathroom, clutching her torn uniform blazer around her body. Her eyes stung, but she kept her head down, praying no one else would see. The hallway felt endless, every step echoing her shame. She wanted to disappear, but Minho had been waiting near the stairwell. His eyes narrowed the moment he saw her. Her uniform was wrinkled and damp. Strands of her hair clung to her cheeks, and though she tried to walk past him, he gently caught her wrist. "What happened?" he asked, his voice low but firm. Jennifer froze. She couldn't look at him. If she spoke, her trembling voice would betray her. So she shook her head quickly, whispering, "It's nothing." Minho frowned. He had seen this before. The way the other girls stared at Jennifer with disdain. The way So-hee and her friends whispered when she walked by. Now, with the faint smell of soda clinging to her blazer, the truth was written all over her. "Nothing doesn't leave you like this," Minho said softly, tilting his head to catch her gaze. But Jennifer pulled away, hugging her books tightly against her chest. "I just want to go home," she murmured. For a long moment, Minho said nothing. His jaw tightened, and a storm brewed behind his calm eyes. Jennifer didn't know it yet, but Minho had already decided he wasn't going to let this go. Because for the first time, seeing her in pain hurt him more than he expected. The next morning, Jennifer sat quietly in the back row, her shoulders hunched, eyes fixed on her notebook, as though the lines on the page could swallow her whole. She prayed for invisibility, but Minho had other plans. As So-hee and her two friends strutted into the room, giggling loudly, Minho rose from his seat, his tall frame cut through the chatter, silencing a few curious classmates as he walked straight toward them. "So-hee," he said sharply. She blinked, caught off guard. "Minho? Why did you and your friends corner Jennifer yesterday?" His voice was calm, but the edge in his tone made the room still. Jennifer's head snapped up, panic flashing in her eyes. "Minho, don't," she whispered, but her voice was too soft. So-hee's confident smirk faltered. "I don't know what you're talking about." Minho's eyes narrowed. "Then why was she walking out of the bathroom with her uniform torn and soaked in soda?" "Accidents don't look like that," whispers erupted around the classroom. So-hee's cheeks flushed, but she lifted her chin defiantly. "Why do you even care about her? She doesn't belong here." The words hit Jennifer like knives, but before she could shrink into herself, Minho stepped closer, his gaze unwavering. "She belongs here more than people who waste their time tearing others down." His voice rang firm, steady, and for the first time, Jennifer saw So-hee falter. Jennifer could barely breathe as the classroom buzzed with whispers. Minho had said it so boldly, so openly, like he didn't care who heard. Her heart thudded in her chest, not from fear this time, but from something unfamiliar, something warm. When the teacher entered, the tension broke, and everyone scrambled to their seats. Jennifer kept her head low, cheeks burning. She was grateful, but also terrified. Minho's words had made her a target even more than before. After class, she packed her books slowly, hoping to slip away unseen. But Minho appeared at her desk, his shadow stretching across her notebook. "Jennifer," he said softly. She froze. Her lips parted, but no words came. "You shouldn't let them treat you like that," he continued, his voice lower now, meant only for her. "If they try again, tell me." Jennifer's throat tightened. No one had ever spoken for her like this before. She wanted to thank him, but her shyness betrayed her. Instead, she mumbled, I, I didn't want trouble. Minho tilted his head, studying her with calm eyes. Sometimes trouble finds you, whether you want it or not. Their eyes met, and for the first time Jennifer didn't look away immediately. There was something in his gaze, steady, protective, that made her feel safe. Sohi's glare burned from across the room, but Jennifer barely noticed. For once, her world wasn't filled with fear. It was filled with Minho. The bell rang, and students flooded out of the classroom in noisy clusters. Jennifer lingered behind, clutching her bag like a shield. She had almost reached the school gate when Minho appeared again, walking in his usual calm stride, his tall frame impossible to ignore. "Jennifer!" he called, his tone light, almost casual. Her stomach flipped. She turned slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. Yes?" He smiled faintly. "Are you heading home?" Jennifer nodded quickly. Yes." Minho studied her for a moment, then tilted his head toward the street. "There's a small cafe nearby. Thought you might like it." Her heart jumped into her throat. A cafe? With him? The idea felt both thrilling and terrifying. She could already imagine the stares, the whispers, Sohi's smug laughter. Her hands tightened around the strap of her bag. I can't," she stammered, lowering her gaze. "I should go home." Minho didn't push, but his eyes softened. "You don't always have to hide, Jennifer." Her lips parted, but no words came. The sincerity in his voice unsettled her, peeling at the walls she had built around herself. "I'll see you tomorrow," Minho said at last, giving her one last look before walking away. Jennifer stood frozen, her heart pounding. No one had ever invited her anywhere before. Not like this. She wanted to say yes. She wanted to step out of her shell, but fear still chained her down. Sohi's perfectly glossed lips curled into a smile as she leaned against her locker, watching from across the hallway. Minho hadn't been subtle. His eyes lingered on Jennifer more often, his words directed to her more gently. It was enough to make Sohi's blood boil. "She really thinks she belongs here?" Sohi hissed under her breath. Her friends Yuna and Hyejin exchanged knowing smirks. "She's nothing, Sohi," Yuna whispered. "One word from you, and she'll wish she never stepped into this school." Sohi's nails tapped against her phone as an idea struck. "Then let's give her a reminder. Tonight." After study hall. By evening, Jennifer was the last to leave the library, hugging her books tightly against her chest. The corridors were empty, lights flickering faintly. She quickened her pace toward the exit when a hand grabbed her wrist. Jennifer gasped as Sohi yanked her into the deserted girls' bathroom. Yuna and Hyejin locked the door behind them. Well, Sohi sneered, circling Jennifer like a predator. "Stealing glances from Minho, are we? You think someone like you deserves him?" Jennifer shook her head quickly, her voice trembling. I wasn't." Before she could finish, Hyejin shoved her against the sink. Her books fell with a loud thud. Yuna snatched her blazer, ripping the seam while Sohi poured the contents of her soda bottle down Jennifer's front. Jennifer's uniform clung to her, cold and sticky. Her eyes burned with tears, but she bit her lip hard, refusing to cry in front of them. Sohi leaned close, her voice a venomous whisper. "Stay away from Minho, or next time, it won't just be your clothes we ruin." Jennifer stumbled out of the bathroom, clutching her soaked books to her chest. Her uniform was torn, her hair damp from the soda dripping down her back. She kept her head low, hoping no one would see her like this. Her heart thudded painfully. If word spread, the shame would be unbearable. She ducked into a quiet corner of the courtyard and sank to the ground. Her trembling fingers tried to smooth her ruined uniform, but her tears betrayed her. For once, Jennifer wished she were invisible, but she wasn't. "Jennifer!" Her head snapped up. Minho stood a few feet away, his expression frozen in shock. His gym bag hung carelessly from one shoulder, but his eyes were only on her. Jennifer scrambled to her feet, wiping at her face. I tripped. It's nothing," she stammered, trying to walk past him. But Minho blocked her path, his voice low and trembling with restrained anger. "Who did this to you?" Jennifer shook her head, hugging her books tighter. Please, just, let it go. He reached out, gently but firmly taking her wrist. Jennifer, he said, eyes searching hers. Don't hide from me. Before she could answer, Sohee's laughter rang out across the courtyard. She and her friends froze when they spotted Minho standing protectively in front of Jennifer. His jaw clenched. It was you. Sohee's smirk faltered under the storm brewing in his eyes. Jennifer's breath caught. The courtyard fell into silence. Dozens of students stopped to watch as Minho stepped forward, placing himself between Jennifer and Sohee. His tall frame blocked Jennifer from their stares, but his voice carried sharp and clear. Sohee, he said, each word laced with fury. You think tearing someone's uniform and humiliating her makes you strong? All it shows is how weak you are. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Sohee's smug smile crumbled, her friends shifting nervously behind her. Jennifer tugged at Minho's sleeve, whispering, Please, don't make it worse. But Minho turned to her, his expression softening. Jennifer, you don't deserve this. You never did. His words were steady, but his eyes carried the weight of someone who had finally seen her pain. Facing the crowd again, he raised his voice. From today on, if anyone dares to touch Jennifer, they'll answer to me. The courtyard erupted into murmurs. Jennifer stood frozen, her shy world colliding with the sudden blaze of attention. Her cheeks burned, but when Minho gently draped his jacket over her torn uniform, the warmth of his gesture drowned her fear. For the first time, Jennifer lifted her chin. The bullies no longer looked powerful. They looked small. Minho glanced at her, his voice quiet now, just for her. You don't need to hide anymore. Not when I'm here. Jennifer's lips trembled into a faint, shy smile. And in that moment, the walls around her heart began to crumble. Because sometimes courage comes not from fighting alone, but from knowing someone finally sees you. The moral lesson of this story is that true strength isn't found in cruelty or pride. It's in protecting those who can't yet protect themselves, and standing by them until they find their own courage.